65 with Adam Driver does not deserve this much hate. It doesn't. It's a good movie. It's good. The writers of The Quiet Place had just come out with their own movie, 65, with Adam Driver, about an alien who crash landed on Earth 65 million years ago and tries to get back home. This is going to be a little different review than we're used to on this channel. Not going to be dead set on pros and cons, as I think a lot of cons are being said about this movie that some are well-deserved, some are not. So I'm just going to be kind of like talking about how I feel like people's opinions are skewed about this movie and how I kind of enjoy this movie a little bit. It's really funny how Rotten Tomatoes is just abysmal. It's laughable at this point. I think we can all agree some of our favorite movies ever have some of the lowest scores on Rotten Tomatoes for no apparent reason. It'll have like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes and it'd be your favorite film ever. So Rotten Tomatoes is not the end-all be-all say-all of these movies, but it's 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, 64 audience score, 34% of critic score, which is just a horrible rating. I don't know what people want nowadays. You want story. If you watch like a movie like G.I. Joe or Transformers or some of the new Marvel stuff, and you're like, we're wanting story, we want characters, we want these things, and then when you get them in a movie like this, you expect no story and you just want dinosaurs fighting. I just don't get it. I don't get the hate on this movie as much as it's being portrayed online or you know, on YouTube or on Rotten Tomatoes. The Rotten Tomatoes score is absolutely abysmal. It is not a 3.4 out of 10 movie. It's not even close to that. It is a really good, entertaining movie that does have a little bit of flaws. It left a little bit to be desired. Let's just say that. That should be the extent of the hate on this movie. But since you saw dinosaurs in the trailer, people are like, Jurassic Park, yes, we want Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. Already thinking you know the movie before you even see it. How about you sit down in a movie theater, get your popcorn, water, soft drink, and sit down and watch the movie for what it is, and see if you like it right after. A lot of people see the trailer, it's going to be the new Jurassic Park, and they're going to create 5 of them. And then you go to the movie theater, it's not even close to Jurassic Park, and you're like, this movie sucked. This movie blows. It doesn't blow. It's just different than Jurassic Park. There's a lot of good with this movie, and that's what we're going to be mostly talking about today, the good of 65. And we'll talk a little bit about the bad parts of it, you know, because they tie in together with some of the good, but let's get straight to it. First thing that I hear most, that it's boring. How can a movie about dinosaurs and alien crash land on Earth and fighting dinosaurs be so boring? Well, one, that's just incorrect. I did not find at any point in this movie for it to be boring. I found multiple things, not just the dinosaurs, to be interesting, which should be a plus for this movie, but in fact was a minus and a negative for most of you. Everybody's saying it's not as good as Jurassic Park CGI-wise. Okay, maybe Jurassic World, but the CGI is definitely better than the original Jurassic Park. Go watch the original Jurassic Park. Yes, it was ahead of its time. The reason that Jurassic Park is great is not because of the CGI. Okay, it's not because of that. Maybe some of us haven't seen the original Jurassic Park in a very long time, and then we watch this movie, it's like, Jurassic Park CGI was better. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. The CGI is perfectly fine in this movie. So CGI is great. It's shot beautifully. I find some of the scenery that they're walking on Earth is fantastic. Could they have used a little bit more of Earth, prehistoric type of feel, right? Yes. But with it only being an hour and a half, it's kind of short. Could have added 30 more minutes in there with some great dinosaur fights on, you know, top of a cool mountain or whatever. Like, you know, you could have done something cooler there, but they didn't, and that's not a deal breaker for me, but it seemed to be a deal breaker for most of you. A lot of people are harping on this movie for being The Last of Us, but with dinosaurs. You're accurate, but why are you not liking that? And actually, it's actually a beautiful moment, because as Adam Driver's character is about to commit suicide, because he's literally the only person on this stranded planet with no way home, gets a signal out there that there is a survivor, and he goes and finds him. It's a little girl, and so he finds purpose. His purpose was his daughter. His purpose was his family, the whole reason that he was doing this thing. And then he lost it because she died while he was on the way here. He crash landed, and he had no purpose anymore. He was like, I can't even save the people at my job. Like, I was transporting these people, I couldn't save a single one. It's over. I have no purpose. And then he found a girl to try to save, and it found a purpose, and they create this bond, and it's a beautiful, beautiful connection that these two actors have. Adam Driver's performance in this movie really I would say carries, but the kid actress in this movie as well has a very good performance. Has a really good performance that no one is even talking about. This is a great performance. She says 7 words of English, maybe. That's hard to do if you're an adult actor. If your role has 7 words and you have to acting nonstop and always be on and show, don't tell type of thing, and through your acting, and acted beautifully, acted amazingly, and no one's really talking about that acting performance. Everybody's talking about Adam Driver did pretty good with what he had. Sometimes all you need is 2 characters in a story. It can be good. It is a little slow at times, which people go ahead and lump in with boring. Slow does not equal boring. Not even close. Why does a dinosaur movie have to move so fast? Not every movie has to be fast-paced, action all the time, and that's what you guys are used to now. It's really sad because there's a story being told forget the dinosaurs. There's a story being told that, yes, is similar to The Last of Us. It's similar, but it's a little different because also fight off these dinosaurs, and also kind of like a sci-fi, and also you're at a place that you don't really recognize. You don't know the terrain. And so a lot of these things that are just, it feels like the world is collapsing in on them, literally, at moments. And it kind of also has this historic thing for Earth that is pretty cool. That the big asteroid, the big one, came down, and this movie alludes to that, and that's pretty much the big catastrophic thing that they're trying to get away from. And I think they do a pretty good job on visual effects there as well. And there is some bad stuff about this movie, but there's a lot more good than people are giving it credit for. For example, not many people are talking about how, like, the plot is so serious, but then there's like these kind of like one-liners that are kind of comedic relief, and it shows how the language barrier can be kind of funny sometimes, and how silly, goofy, and young the kid is, and how Adam Driver also feeds into that childish nature. Well, he had like a handful of mud, and he was trying to chase her around with it, and there's some lighthearted moments. And it kind of shows humanity, even in the deepest, darkest times, we still have some lighthearted moments. This movie's deeper than people are giving it credit for. I enjoyed the movie. I think it's a different take on kind of like that Last of Us father-daughter, but not really your father and daughter, so you have to figure out how this relationship's going to work. It's a new take on that, and I find it pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's all. I just don't really get the hate, not even remotely close. 34% of Rotten Tomatoes is absolutely atrocious. I think 64% is a little bit light. I'd rate this movie a solid 6.8. A 6.8 out of 10. Just a little notch up from the audience score. So most audiences pretty much agree with me. It was okay. It's a little bit above middle of the road movie. 90 minutes. I heard people saying it felt really long. It felt like 65 million years. It did not. It felt like 90 minutes. I wanted more. At the end of the movie, I was like, I want more of this. Go give it a watch. It's not as bad as you guys think. Go give it a watch. Go in it with zero expectations, and you'll love the movie. I promise that. Thank you. This has been More of the Movies. Signing off.